My high school boyfriend has popped back into my life 6 years later. People think it's romantic, but I feel violated. This is wild and probably long, but any advice is needed. Buckle in, guys. When I, 24F, was in high school, I dated Kyle, 24M, for about a year. We were teenagers in love, and I have a lot of fond memories of him. We would handwrite each other love letters, talk for hours until the sun came up, and sneak off at events to find a corner to make out in. We were the definition of young love. It was, looking back, perfect. No blaring issues. We just went to college in different states and were too young to make long-distance work. A lot has happened since Kyle. I even got married and divorced, which is another long and traumatic story. About a week ago, 6 years after we broke up, Kyle slid into my Instagram DMs to wish me a happy birthday and strike up what I thought was a casual conversation. It was really nice, occasionally flirty, but nothing too crazy, just casual banter. We shifted the conversation to text, where it got a little flirtier, sometimes bordering on spicy. Nothing crazy, just a few conversations about sex. I started noticing how much he remembered about me. He remembered my 5 favorite movies in order, my favorite 10 albums, what songs I used to play for him, my favorite book, my favorite quote from my favorite book, and what I wore to our first date. I didn't get too uncomfortable until he told me he remembered my bra and shoe size. He also remembered the exact date and time I broke up with him all the way back in 2018. I chalked it up to a crazy good memory, but it did shake me up. We also had a few FaceTime calls where Kyle confessed that he's never loved another woman, that I set the bar for women, and he looks for me in every woman he sees. I told Kyle that he hadn't known me since I was 17. I'm not that woman anymore, but he kept telling me he knew what he wanted. One night, he got drunk, called me, and told me he loved me and wanted to marry me. I told him he was drunk and hung up. The next morning, he texted me, "Hey, I saw I called you last night. I didn't say anything stupid, did I?" I told him what he had said, expecting him to be embarrassed, but instead he responded, "Well, I do." It's true, since then the floodgates have opened. I'll attach some actual texts from Kyle below. I struggle with apathy. It's incredibly difficult to put myself in the position of others. I simply can't bring my mind to that place without understanding. But there's something about you. You simply touch a wall I've built around my heart, and it crumbles effortlessly. I used to not have a single care for the world, but you make me love the entire world just because you're in it. If you reject me, I'd be devastated. To be honest, I'd be devastated and move to another Spain in order to start a new life. But I would be a painter and get super famous, and all the paintings would be of you, and people would always wonder who the beautiful woman was. I want everyone to know how much I love you and settle for nothing less. Those could be sweet. It would be great if we had been dating for 6 years, but we've only been talking for a week. I'm a different person entirely. This feels so odd. He's admitted to longingly looking at my Facebook and Instagram pages, missing and thinking of me, entertaining these messages, changing the subject, or telling him, "You don't know me." But he doubles down on how his love is unchanging. I feel a little violated, and I'm not sure how to get out of this situation. I need to act fast, though, because he knows what apartment complex I live in. He has friends here, and mentioned he is going to come to my city on Friday to see me. I do not want to see him. I've never been in a situation like this, and don't even know where to start. Relevant comments. Vile Blood 666 commented, "Damn, it stinks to be in that position, OP. Sorry, you have to deal with that. It's a shame he can't see that what he's doing is not working, and it's unattractive. Seriously, no one wants to be obsessed with something when the feeling isn't reciprocated. I hope you haven't been leading him on at all, because that's going to make it harder. But you need to be firm with him, and just tell him like it is. You aren't interested at all in that, and if he can't accept that, then you are not going to talk to him anymore. If he can't come to terms with that, block him. It's for his own good. If he shows up at your door, for fuck's sake, do not answer it. If he insists, you should call the police. Don't give in and feed this anymore because it's going to make your situation worse. Good luck, OP replied. That's where the problem is. I was initially flirting back, but the conversation took a different turn. Once the I love you and marriage talk started, I'd softly launch a ghosting. And now I know that I flirted with him back at first, and he may have taken that as me leading him on. JRJ 1015 commented, "Here's an alternative take. That's a shame, OP. I'm sorry he wasn't able to move on to another nice girl after you dumped him in high school. He obviously really loved you. At that age, you usually see guys just looking to get laid, and then move on to the next easy girl. This guy was different. He was clearly devoted to you. You didn't reciprocate this devotion, as within a span of 6 years, you encountered another man, pursued a relationship with him, became engaged, wed him, and ultimately filed for divorce. I'm sorry you feel violated. I mean that. I am also sorry Kyle is about to get a second dose of what he felt shortly after he graduated high school." OP replied, "I'm sorry, but I do want to acknowledge some stuff in this comment that feels a little icky. We broke up because he went to college 2,000 miles away. I didn't have a car and worked at a movie theater, so I couldn't afford a plane ticket. He attended a private college that prohibited him from leaving campus. I have had 3 boyfriends since him. 2 lasted about a month, but my husband would be the 3rd. I dated him for 5 years before we got married. After a month of marriage, he got pregnant and admitted to cheating on me with multiple women. I truly don't appreciate the comment implying that I dated another guy, got engaged, got married, and divorced him. I understand this is a Reddit post where I asked for advice, but please do not act like you know exactly what happened in my situation. Only, post if guy comments, where is the violation? Is it because you are unable to use adult language that you are running to Reddit, or did you tell him to leave you alone?" OP replied, "The violation involves him admitting that he knows where I live because he's asked some of our mutual friends about me, admitting to stalking all my social media and my ex's social media under a different account to keep tabs on me, and telling me he knows all the people I've dated since he never stopped thinking of me. I did run to Reddit a little because I've never been in this situation before. Given that he knows my location and is clearly obsessed with me, it can sometimes be overwhelming and scary to draw those firm boundaries." Only Positive Guy commented a second time, "None of what you posted is a violation. You spent your entire life on social media, and he's exploiting that. Before you block him and his number, let him know you're not interested and that he's making you uncomfortable." Normal Cantaloupe 778 comments, "All of what he's doing is called stalking. That is violating. Just because people post on social media doesn't mean that we want some guy to figure out where we live, know every single detail about our lives, and then throw I love you and marriage at us after a week. It's obsessive and violating. I wouldn't feel safe at all in this situation." OP replied, "I also want to say that my Facebook hasn't been touched since 2019, and I only have 4 posts on Instagram, all of them pictures of my dog. So I'm not putting my whole life on social media," he admitted. "He goes through my friends to get information on me." Long Jumping Pick 706 commented, "He sounds like he is romanticizing puppy love and bordering on obsessive. Honestly, I would send him a text saying you are uncomfortable, do not feel the same way, and no longer want to be in contact. Then block him." Weekend Wench commented, "Isn't this how the Netflix series You started? Girl, run and hide." That's the end of this story. Do you think OP is overreacting? For more stories, please like and subscribe to Reddit Dirt.